On his Discord server, it was widely acknowledged that they were now officially dating, and some people even knew that his girlfriend was the missing girl, Celeste Rivas Hernandez.
Discord's already like having to speak before Congress and shit. And this kind of stuff coming out is only going to make them look even worse.
Injury. He streamed with her on Twitch, and although she was wearing a hoodie,
I mean, that's all the confirmation you need right there. I mean, she's missing, and then she shows up on his stream. I mean, it should be obvious at that point, right?
said, Anissa, do not text. He came back. He's crying. Do not text me. I fixed him. I'm staying. I fixed him.
Oh, God, I fixed him. It's one of those, I can fix him. No, you can't, ladies. You never can. Ever.
Yeah, man. Romantic homicide was just like, I wanted to feel what the other kids were feeling. Like, everybody I knew, well, in middle school that I didn't talk to anymore, everybody had relationships. I didn't have a relationship. I wanted to do that.
Oh, great. He was an incel.
Yes. David's future shows were promptly canceled, and he's been described as fully cooperative with law enforcement, although he hasn't been officially listed as a suspect or even a person of interest.
I don't understand how he couldn't at least be listed as a person of interest. What the fuck, man? That being said, let's see if Turkey Tom has found out some stuff about it that we have not. So we'll pull up Turkey Tom's The David Files. If you're not already subscribed to Turkey Tom, you should be. Probably the best video essayist on YouTube.
On September...
And had potential to be one of the best live streamers. But, you know, he had just finished a documentary with Destiny when he started live streaming, and he was kind of being seen as a Destiny orbiter because of that, and he had some ties to Destiny. And then the Destiny Pixie drama started, and people were going after Destiny's orbiters. So Tom wisely decided to lay low, and he just stopped live streaming and went back to video essays and didn't mention it again and didn't respond to any of it. And people kind of forgot about Tom being an orbiter, and he didn't catch much heat for it like all the rest of his orbiters, which is good. That means his plan worked. However, I feel like enough time has passed, he can go back to live streaming and he can just put it all behind him and never address it and just live stream and do the drama thing again and just say, you know, blah, blah, blah. But I guess he's going to wait until that is completely blown over and it's done and dusted, the lawsuit is over and everything, because it will come up again. If he started streaming again today, it would come up again eventually. People would start talking about Destiny eventually, just like they have here recently. And while he's not the topic of discussion now, new developments will happen in that ongoing drama, and it will be talked about again. And then people will think about Tom, and he'll be live for them to come in his chat and start asking those questions. And even if he chooses not to answer them, people will paint the narrative he's dodging the questions, blah, blah, blah. Whereas he can just do video essays, and then it looks like he's not dodging it. He's just not an orbiter. You know, people tend to see them as orbiters when they're live streamers and not when they're video essayists. So I can see why he doesn't stream anymore. It just sucks because he was a pretty good live streamer. I enjoyed Tom's live streams.
November 8th, 2025, police officers found body parts in the trunk of a vehicle showing signs of prolonged malnourishment. Upon further investigation, they discovered these were the remains of a teenage girl that had been missing for 17 months, and that the car...
Damn, it was way longer than a year. Holy shit.
belonged to indie artist David, who had over 30 million listeners and songs with almost 250 million views on YouTube. An already dark and tragic incident became even darker, as people online slowly unraveled 4 years of David foreshadowing this would happen through his music, which he was performing the same day the body was found.
Yeah, the big question that's going to come from this is, can his music be used as evidence? Because we've had that happen before, and the courts have historically not allowed songs or song lyrics to be used as evidence in the past. But I don't think there's ever been a link this explicit before, so it's going to be interesting to see if they start to allow it, because that could change the music industry as a whole.
This is one of the most downright evil stories I've ever covered, so viewer discretion is advised. All the way back in 2018, 13-year-old David Anthony Burke was a homeschooled kid with not just a normal family, but an unusually well-to-do family unit. His parents were still together, had a strong religious background, and were well off financially, as his dad was a regional litigation support project manager for a global firm with 75
That is a word salad of a job title.
offices and a staff of over 1,500 attorneys.
I am the regional assistant to the region. I am assistant to the regional manager.
Browsing his LinkedIn briefly shows you just how many huge law firms he dealt with and how much experience he had. By all means, the Burke family was well supported and had everything they needed. However, David had mostly unsupervised access to the internet, and they simply
Recipe for disaster.
had no idea the kinds of things he would expose himself to, but we'll get to that later. To their knowledge, and likewise to the public's knowledge, David's teenage years had him either studying or playing Fortnite and making edits and montages of it. But
Which would have been fine if that's where it stayed. But unrestricted access to the internet.
due to the prominent role music plays in Fortnite edits, he found his content getting frequently copyright striked. Over the course of 3 years where he struggled with this problem, he decided to take his interest in artists like XXXTentacion and Tyler the Creator to try his hand at making his own music to avoid copyright. This culminated in the release of his first song on YouTube, Runaway, which was released in December 2021. From the get-go, the themes in his music are very clear and repetitive. The speaker in the song is trying to get someone they love to come live with them, feeling sad when they feel their feelings are not reciprocated,
The first canary in the coal mine, boys and girls.
fearing that their partner is running away, and lastly, having these feelings boil over into aggression and a jealous anger. In a song from February 2022, he says, "I look into your eyes and I can see right through your lies. I think we both know who dies here. You can't leave the past behind. You're the only one that lies here." In another song from just 1 month later, he has the phrase, "Save your tears 7 years" in the chorus. And I think at this point,
Is that how long it would take her to become an adult?
it's necessary to introduce you to David's alleged victim for legal purposes. Celeste Rivas Hernandez, born on September 7th, 2010, meaning in early 2022, she'd have been 11, 7 years away from being
Would have made her 18. Yep, called it.
18. Meanwhile, David would be 17. While no one had any reason to suspect anything at the time, the contents of his
I don't know, that's a pretty big red flag in and of itself.
music only became more concerning. Over his next 2 songs that are almost follow-ups to one another, the narrative David is describing goes from just needing a friend to a song called More Than Just Friends, where he says, "I told you keep it 10, or you'll end up dead." Pieces put together like a puzzle. Over the next 8 songs,
What does keep it 10 mean? Sorry, I can't keep up with all the Gen Z slang. Keep it 10. I know what keep it 100 means. What does keep it 10? I mean, these are all pretty big red flags. So my theory is like he was probably friends with like the girl's older sibling. Didn't she have older siblings? Because that's how something like this I could see happening is you get a 16, 17-year-old hanging out at their friend's house who's of the same age, but then they have a younger sibling, you know, it's 11 or 12, way too young, but doesn't look their age, or maybe you start to feel a connection with them that makes you feel like they're more mature than their age. Yeah, you start doing the mental gymnastics to excuse your attraction to them, even though you know you shouldn't be attracted to them, and then you use that as a way to act upon it and take it to the next level. That's typically how these kind of things go, I think.
songs, this narrative is mostly maintained, with David talking about being sent into jealous frenzies and obsessively sending whoever he's talking to hundreds of messages, while occasionally saying things like, "trying to kill you slowly" and "we're gonna die tonight." As much as it's pretty commonplace for these themes to appear in this kind of music, it often seemed like David was being a bit too oddly specific about his subject matter. This is even more the case when you factor in the kinds of things he was tweeting at the time, such as, "When I was writing this, I got a notification from you, as you were talking about wanting to be with your mom and your sister again. Take me where I belong, but your circumstances won't allow us to be in our ideal situations. We gotta push through it, bro." It's one thing for there to be odd lyrics, but this is just him talking on a tweet about how someone needs to push through their wishes to be with their mom and sister again. While the post he was
So, pretty much hinting at the fact that maybe you're holding her against her will?
replying to there is now gone, there is a Wayback Machine snapshot of what the original exchange was. In it, David, with his old handle, Ant Part 2, is replying to someone named 6K4TE, who says, "This relates to how I feel so heavily." to one of his songs. The only other hit for this exact handle is a Pinterest profile whose last piece of activity took place 11 months ago. Currently, this Twitter handle is being used by someone else who is not related to the original owner of the handle or David, so don't go messaging them because they have nothing to do with anything. The only other significant pieces of David's Twitter activity from around this period are him saying that religion is a money scheme and that he'd been studying nihilism lately. Although she was probably there for longer, the earliest record of a Celeste in David's Discord server comes from October 2022, when she would have been 12. It's around this time that we got one of the most damning instances of David telling on himself. The music video for the track Romantic Homicide. The video depicts
this is the one that got referenced on Twitter. So this is the one that we listened to and we heard.
David in some pretty ritualistic scenes, surrounded by candles with a blindfold on, standing in front of a seemingly deceased girl. Later on, it's suggested that the evidence of the crime is hid away inside of a suitcase. The lyrics aren't very specific, but they too reflect the same themes from before, killing someone he loves. While his previous songs had already gotten some degree of attention, this one was by far his biggest hit yet, taking him from being an obscure indie artist to being in the same category as people like Juice WRLD. Last but not least,
another artist I am not familiar with at all, but I know he's big because he made it into Fortnite. God, like I just can't keep up with all these like artists that show up out of nowhere.
If you check the date this video was posted, it was exactly on the 7th.
And you could also play me a bunch of them back to back, and I wouldn't be able to tell you the difference in them. A lot of times they sound the same. I don't get it. Maybe I'm that old man yelling at clouds, but I don't get it. Get off my lawn, you damn kids! Yeah, maybe I'm that guy now, but I don't get it. Make it make sense.
Of September, Celeste's birthday. Maybe due to how much success this song got him, David got even bolder about subliminally referencing the insidious things he was doing behind the scenes. 2 months into the new year, he started opening up to his Discord server, which obviously was full of minors. In a long string of messages, he said, "I used to be addicted to watching gore videos. Live Leak was bookmarked. Lamau. I saw a cartel execution on Reddit when I was 14. Got to the point where I don't even cringe when I see it no more. I remember laughing at one point. It got bad, man. I like writing gory psychological drama, romantic quotes."
So this is the digital equivalent of what would be the red flag of like a child torturing animals for fun and like finding enjoyment in it as like oh, that's like an early sign of a serial killer. This guy's torturing the neighborhood cat. He's killing the neighborhood pets, you know, that kind of thing. This is the online equivalent of that. It's the digital version of that.
And a lot of death. I love gore. Gore is better.
I'm not gonna say he's a serial killer, but it's a red flag in that like, oh man, he might actually kill somebody one day. And it looks like allegedly, I can say it again, allegedly, he might have. And by that I mean, I'll be shocked if he isn't found guilty. But again, allegedly. There's still a chance he didn't do it.
Than adult videos. This is
albeit slim, there's still a chance.
Absolutely not the first time someone has mentally self-destructed via gore videos. There is such a huge community online of absolute freaks surrounding this kind of thing that I'm surprised there hasn't been a massive crackdown on it. And that's without
So am I.
mentioning how the same platform for this kind of video often leads to other, more illegal kinds of content. Another sign David was getting increasingly comfortable with letting other people know was that the entire server was at least somewhat in on the fact that he was with Celeste. Some kind of bot on his server shared what looks like a playlist called Celeste in David's Closet. In late March, someone going by the name James Buttergun said David only added underage girls to the server. And
Whoa, now that's probably the biggest red flag of all right there.
even specified that this wasn't some kind of joke, even if other users in there would joke about it openly. While I'm sure plenty of people had no idea about David's proclivities, based on the messages that have become public, at least some of them absolutely did, to the point where they even knew which girl specifically David talked to more frequently. One Reddit user said, one of the old Discord screenshots were two guys, allegedly, chatting, and they said that David wouldn't add them back, but he followed his underage girl fans immediately. One of them made a teenage catfish girl account, and David immediately followed his catfish.
That's like the incel who does nothing but talk shit about OnlyFans models and acts like he's against them, and then you go to his fucking Twitter and the only accounts he's following are e-girls and OnlyFans models.
account back. But his self-tells notoriously don't limit themselves to his Discord messages. A music video from November 2022 featured a girl that looked similar to Celeste. Another one from February 2023 depicted him playing the part of a dead body, specifically wearing clothes to make him appear smaller than he actually was, and getting placed into the back of a car. On April 3rd, he released a promotional
Which is where she was found, by the way.
video that opened with these words.
You see, when a human being is drained of all of its blood, it becomes pale, lifeless, just as the rose, visually appealing, only good to observe and admire. But the moment you go to pick it up, you get stabbed.
He released 2 other projects this year, and again, we can find
Dude, just looking back, it's like there are so many red flags here.
various allusions to his secret, having to defend his quote-unquote love from people who questioned it, being obsessive and even self-destructive, references to roses and shovels, describing himself as the devil, and becoming aggressive when his partner tries to leave. While most of the music videos are innocuous, the girls in them always look like Celeste, although one of them stands out as the most disturbing of all. On the
Yeah, that was the one we saw in the Twitter thread that I made comparisons to, and yeah, the resemblance is pretty uncanny.
7th of September, Celeste's birthday, the anime video for a song called Rehab was released, wherein the female character gets butchered, literally cut into pieces by David's character. Uncoincidentally, around
Wow. He did foreshadow it. This motherfucker spelled it out for you. God, I really hope that they allow this kind of stuff to be used as evidence. I mean, I'm worried they won't, because it'll definitely change the implications for what you can and can't say, and like that's gonna be the argument, is that it'll be a free speech issue, because it'll change what people can and can't say in their in their music going forward, because it's not artistic expression, now it's evidence, and that's what people are gonna worry about. But in his case, I think it's actual fucking evidence, guys.
Around the same time this video came out, David makes a song called Celeste that, although he'd never released it, ended up leaking. In it,
That's why that's the one that's copyright free, and they kept begging me to play it on stream, because it wasn't released, so there's no licensing attached to it, and it's a leak. Gotcha. Well, still glad I didn't play it though.
are lyrics about Celeste only opening up when she's high and having his name tattooed on her
Yeah, we read the lyrics of that one.
chest. Up until this point, there were only allusions, and this was the first time he outright said her name in a song. Even if he didn't release it, it leaked anyway. And more, it seemed like David was getting something out of teasing his followers with his illegal activities. In the same month, David did a stream with Celeste visibly in the background, and when people asked who she was, he only replied with, "You are a Fed." This person who asked about her, a Discord user called Lamp, was then threatened by David, who said, "Wallahi, he's finished. I know what he leaked already. We're literally preparing to sue him, Lamau. Lamp is about to owe $30,000. Legal team going bonkers right now." How confident can a guy be that he's threatening to get legal with someone as they literally have a picture of him with a 13-year-old girl? To make matters worse,
Yeah. Dude's not right in the head, man.
for the whole year of 2023, he was actively looking for other minors to do the same thing to, as he had been caught DMing girls well under the age of 18. In January 2024,
Yeah, at this point, like, it may have started with an attraction to just her when he was 17 and he knew that attraction was wrong, but at some point, like, I don't know what about it made him pursue it, but like I said, it probably happened with them just being friends and him now finding himself, oh shit, I think I really like this girl, but she's too young. And instead of letting that be the end of it, where it should have been, he found ways to do mental gymnastics or become obsessed with it, to the point that I think younger girls became a fetish for him, is what it's starting to sound like.
he made a post on TikTok with a bunch of Hello Kitty gear, and when someone commented asking David to adopt them, David replied, tagging an account that was clear.
Which is why some fetishes should be seen as red flags, even when they're done between consenting adults. I will stand by that. Yes, I will kink shame you if I find you doing the fucking the fucking adult wearing diapers, or one of the adults wants to, I don't know what you call that fetish, but where one of the adults pretends to be a child and the other adult is, actively taking care of them and treating them like a child, buying them children's toys, tucking them into bed, and then having sex with them. Like, okay, that should be a red flag, because one day that guy might go after actual children. The imitation of one might not be good enough eventually. They're like, yeah, that should be a thing that people worry about.
Clearly an alt saying, should we? This account had little to no activity, but was listed as having Celeste's birthday, meaning it possibly belonged to her. But besides
More than likely did.
this post, David was
Or somebody he was having role play as her because she's his obsession.
less explicit about his criminal involvement with Celeste in his music. But that doesn't mean the situation was getting any better. Quite the opposite, actually. In mid-February 2024, a Facebook user by the name of Dora Hernandez made a post which read, "Celeste Hernandez is my niece. She's missing this morning and didn't get to her classes in Lake Elsinore, California. She
Okay, so that's the date that she went missing.
is 13 years old. If anyone has seen her, please contact me or her parents, Mercedes Martinez, or call the police." Immediately after, Celeste's mother, Mercedes, also made a post asking for help, and the efforts to locate her waged on for the next few days, coming from multiple family members and acquaintances of her. However, about 5 days later, Mercedes made a currently unavailable post that was replied to by the rest of the family, with things like, "Thank God our prayers have been answered." And in another exchange, a redacted person said she came home last night, which leads me to think that she was found around the 20th of February. Right around the same time, David was posting
Yeah, but it's by a redacted person. Is it real, or is it somebody trying to get people to stop looking for her? That's what I'd be questioning now.
more frequently about some Hello Kitty girl, which absolutely meant he was talking about Celeste, as she was known to like Sanrio merch. In a confusing turn of events, within
God, that's so creepy. Like, that's... Oh, man, there's so many red flags here.
Within 2 months, Celeste was once again announced to be missing, seen the last time on the 5th of April wearing Hello Kitty sandals. This has led some people to theorize that some members of her family knew that she was with David and were
I mean, didn't her mom come out and later say that she had a boyfriend named David, but didn't acknowledge or confirm if it was that guy or not? I'm willing to believe that, yeah, some of them probably know. The question is, did they know who he was and what his age was? Or did they give it a pass because he was quote-unquote famous? Or maybe they thought he'd become famous? Like the level of involvement that they have is all going to be pure speculation. But I'd say at least her mother knew of the existence of a boyfriend named David. Whether or not she knew it was this guy or not is, I guess, what's up for debate.
were okay with it, and that others weren't and continued to press for her to come home. Ultimately, we don't know the exact details of how this all went down, but the fact that she was with David is an absolute certainty. On his Discord server, it was widely acknowledged that they were now officially dating, and some people even knew that his girlfriend was the missing girl, Celeste Rivas Hernandez.
Yeah, see, that should have been an even bigger red flag. Like, Discord's already, like, having to speak before Congress and shit. And this kind of stuff coming out is only going to make them look even worse. Like, I'm wondering, like, this makes me scared for the regulation that they'll put around places like Discord. The internet's about to be a lot less open. A lot less open. Stuff like this is what's going to lead to them passing those laws where you have to show ID to use literally everything. And being anonymous online will be a thing of the past eventually.
This person, Ponzalo, is one of the first people to call David out on it.
Which is bad, by the way. I'm not saying like, oh, it's good. Everybody should have to be them true selves and dox themselves every time they use the internet. You should have to dox yourself to even be allowed online. No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying the exact opposite. That's bad. That shouldn't be where things end up going. There should be some regulations where you can still be anonymous safely, because the anonymity of the internet and the ability to be able to speak your mind freely without, you know, having to worry about losing your job and all the stuff that people have to worry about now is important. It's very important. I don't want to see that go away.
And in other messages, he said, David took my little sister's friend to LA to bang in his house while she's 12. Did y'all know David likes kids? I want to tell everyone about how David is a creep. As far as I know, besides Ponzalo, the only other person to be going after David over this was a random TikTok commenter called Robin River in February 2024, when Celeste went missing for the first time. Among those who were familiar with David, it was simply common knowledge that he had basically kidnapped this girl. Adding insult to injury, he streamed with her on Twitch, and although she was wearing a hoodie,
I mean, that's all the confirmation you need right there. I mean, she's missing and then she shows up on his stream. I mean, it should be obvious at that point, right?
and big glasses, it was clearly her. At some point during it, this moment happened.
I media trained you.
No, you didn't.
That's controversial.
It's controversial of kids. Oh, I need a
Really good.
Okay,
It's
bye.
been a good one. Bye.
bye, guys.
Oh, damn. Yeah, like that's almost an open confession.
Mwah, 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 mwah. Oh my! Delete everything. Delete everything. Everything goes. Everything goes. Everything.
He was basically flaunting one of the most egregious crimes imaginable for hundreds of people to see, all while being world famous. In TikTok posts and Instagram stories, he hints at basically paying her to stay with him. Around April 2024, when she was reported missing for the second time, an unreleased song called Drink
Yeah, it wasn't worth it, sweetie. Like, it really sucks that no one intervened earlier with all of these red flags, because she could have been saved. I mean, I get using the money to keep her there. She's too young to see that red flag, but I mean, it's a huge red flag.
Drink and Drive was made, containing lyrics such as, "Are you still under the car? Stay with me. I know it's my fault. Oh God, I'm here. Can't you take me instead? She didn't deserve to go. I'll be crying in this jail cell tonight." While these are contextualized within the song, they are also eerily foreboding considering the ultimate end of this story. It's also shortly after the second missing report that possibly the worst detail of this story took place. In messages that Celeste allegedly exchanged with someone called Anissa, she said, "Anissa, do not text. He came back. He's crying. Do not text me. I fixed him. I'm staying. I fixed him."
Oh God, I fixed him. It's one of those, I can fix him. No, you can't, ladies. You never can. Ever. They fix themselves or you walk. You don't fix them. That's not your responsibility. And this is what happens to those who try to do it. I'm not saying it's Celeste's fault by any stretch of the imagination, but this is usually how it ends for those girls who stick around an abusive guy because they think they can fix him. Is you just become a victim.
I don't know how. We both cried to get her, and he changed his mind. I'm happy he did, though. Anissa, you have to swear you're gonna stay safe. Are you still gonna talk to David or go back with him? Because I don't want you to get in any more trouble with him. Celeste, I'm safe. No, I'm not. Now, I've already made a disclaimer earlier, but either way, I'm going to paraphrase instead of straight up reading the following messages due to how vile it is. To sum it up, Celeste said that she has bled as a consequence of something that happened with David, and just a couple of messages later,
Yeah, he's going to censor it where they didn't censor it on Twitter. Maybe I should have censored it in my video, but it hadn't been flagged yet. But yeah, she was talking about, I mean, it should be obvious what she's talking about, the loss of her virginity here.
says that she was also pressured into being with someone else by the name of Gus. Almost equally concerning is that David began saying in interviews that once he put together enough money, he
I don't like the way Tom framed that. He should have framed it more clearly, because that implies that, like, David pressured her to be with another guy, when from what I read it seemed like that was something that happened before she was with David, and that was how her first time went. So David wasn't technically her first time. She was just explaining to people how her first time went.
He planned to move to some remote island completely off the grid. Specifically, he noted he'd do this in about 4 years, which is when Celeste would be turning 18. Whatever his ultimate plans for her were at this time, they were clearly developing in scale. His dedication to this secret objective of his was to the point that, according to Instagram user ChandlerOTD, David had begun paying people off to keep their mouths shut about him being with a minor. And there's even a picture of what
If they can put evidence of that forward, that will, that's going to be it. He's going to be done. That's what'll help put him away.
appears to be him doing it in some parking lot. Someone else on Reddit by the name of Alpha Tango Cheesecake made similar claims, saying, "This guy is a creep from what I've heard. My sister, who is now in 9th grade, told me that he was dating an 8th grader and she would go on trips with him to LA. They're all in 9th grade now, and it turns out Celeste's friends knew and he would pay them to keep their mouth shut. Celeste has been missing for over a month now, and no one knows her whereabouts. Definitely something strange going on." Despite how many times he professed his love for her, the tune slowly started to change after she went missing, presumably to go live with him. In June, he made a post captioned, "Me after hearing about her past with other boys, I'm jealous and disgusted by her actions," with the background image being Patrick Bateman holding a nail gun to a woman's head. Now, in any other context, I would just assume this is a complete joke and has literally no meaning behind it, but it's definitely disturbing given what we know now. And keep in mind, she was 13 going on 14 at this time, so any past she had with other people was
still when she was a minor, yeah.
necessarily the actions of a minor. Besides this, there's also a post suggesting an interest in cannibalism, another one pouring boiling water on her for telling another boy happy birthday, and most concerning of all, one captioned, "Me if I see her talk with other dudes," showing David cutting up meat. Slowly, these themes solidified.
And she was caught up. I don't see how you can't use this stuff as evidence. Jesus. Like, he is spelling it out.
And after enough time passed since Celeste was reported as missing, David once again became bold enough to start hinting at what he was up to in his music videos. In February 2025, he released one for the song One More Dance, where he is stuffed in the trunk of a car and taken out to the middle of the woods to be buried. About a month later, he previewed a song with the following lyrics. "Nobody ever caught me, but I spoke too soon in the back of a police car. I forgot whatever I knew. I ain't telling nothing. Do the same if they ask you about her." Despite
But you're telling it all in your songs about what you're going. Fucking moron. He deserves to be locked up.
how much this sounds like he's just talking about his plans for Celeste, in the context of the rest of the song, he's talking about something that took place in November 2016. But as far as is publicly known, there's no signs he committed any kind of crime back then. I should note, however, that he has one other song where he says, "You wouldn't believe what I did as a kid back in 2016. So given that David has the proclivity to basically tell on himself in his music, people should start giving real consideration that he may have actually done something in November 2016. Now, before I fully get into all of the allusions David made
Yeah, I might want to start looking into stuff he was doing and his actions around that time. You may find a second crime.
to his eventual crime through his music, I'd like to give attention to an interview he gave in late April, where he said this.
Yeah, man, romantic homicide was just like, I wanted to feel what the other kids were feeling. Like, everybody I knew, well, in middle school that I didn't talk to anymore, everybody had relationships. I didn't have a relationship. I wanted to do that.
Oh, great, he was an incel.
I wanted to be involved in this or have a heartbreak for myself, so I kind of just like made up these scenarios of myself getting heartbroken and being in love and stuff like that. And I would write songs about things that never happened.
Given he was born in 2005,
I don't believe this. That was a lie. That's his way of trying to get away with it. He's realizing that people are looking at his music and seeing it as, oh shit, these are confessions. So he's just trying to, yep, that's a lie.
2016 is right when he'd be middle school aged, exactly 11 years old. I think this is relevant not just because he's made multiple references to having done something in 2016, but also because whatever this something may have been, it's a significant part of why he later on went after Celeste, also when she was 11. Now, to cover his music, there are more suggestions that Celeste was now refusing to say she loved him, and some of the lyrics became quite ominous, such as, "He might have you, but I've got your ghost, and we both know that's the real you, and God knows it's true. I love you the most, but we both know what I have to do. Eyes looking right through me. Why can't I hear your heartbeat? Dance with me under the moon above. Let us keep this perfect memory." This is probably one of the most dense set of lyrics yet, as the main theme here is one that's a pattern among many serial killers. The idea that killing someone somehow attaches them to you in a subservient role for eternity, with some of them, like the cannibal Jeffrey Dahmer, even considering it a kind of romantic intimacy. Ed Kemper even called his victims his spirit wives. Given David's documented interest in that kind of macabre culture, it would make perfect sense for him to have developed this same kind of sick delusions.
Yeah, he definitely idolized serial killers. he was on those gore forums and looking at all that gore stuff. I wouldn't be surprised if some of it was related to serial killers or serial killings. And he, instead of looking at them with disgust, because he said he got to the point where he didn't even cringe at it anymore, he probably started to idolize him. I wouldn't be surprised if a serial killer was his hero.
Surrounding Celeste. Secondly, the mention of the moon is relevant because in 2025, Celeste's birthday, which had been a common release date for David's projects, fell right on a blood moon, which harkened back to his ritualistic depictions in his music videos. Another interesting theme that shows up in this period is the strings. In his album, there's an interlude called The Invisible String Theory, where David and an unknown person talk about how some people are inevitably tied together by fate. But much more importantly, in 2 music videos and the cover art for one of his album singles, there is the prominent presence of red strings, specifically, following the idea that David is enamored not only by gore, but also about true crime, serial killers, and
Oh, shit. He got obsessed with true crime and gore. And serial killers probably, too. This is a recipe for disaster.
things of that sort. It would make sense that he's also into the TV show Dexter, which has recently
There it is. Called it.
experienced a huge resurgence in popularity due to online memes about it and new spin-offs.
And the rise of true crime content.
First, the whole blood moon thing is a small but significant motif both in the original show, being present in one of the most meaningful and well-known scenes, which you've probably seen in edits, and in the sequel show, New Blood.
Yeah, I've never watched Dexter at all. Maybe I should go watch it now. I've seen memes about it, but I've never actually watched the show.
Secondly, we have the red string motif, which was a calling card of one of the original show's most well-known serial killers, Brian Moser.
Yep, he saw himself as Dexter. The good guy serial killer.
Who was known for dismembering his victims and stringing them back together. Unsurprisingly, when David's crime was revealed, many people noticed the connections and called David the Bay Harbor Butcher, which is Dexter's name as a serial killer. But before we get to that, I think it's relevant to say that despite all of the red flags imaginable and a lot of the information that I've gone over being easily found online, 2025 marked the greatest year of David's career. From officially collaborating with Fortnite and making the anthem for it, to collaborating with artists like Kali Uchis and having Pokimane in one of his music videos, to having
What? That I didn't know.
songs of his be featured in extremely mainstream TV shows like Invincible and Arcane, all of which got to tens of millions.
His songs are in Invincible? I did recently watch all of Invincible that's out so far, and I don't remember that. Although I don't recognize his music, so I guess I wouldn't pick it up immediately. Now I'm going to have to look up like which episode and song that was and go back and rewatch it.
Millions of views. By all accounts, his wildest dreams had come true, but at the same time, someone else's worst nightmare followed suit. On the evening of the 8th of September, fresh off the blood moon and Celeste's birthday, there was a 2023 Tesla with Texas license plates in an impound yard on the 1000th block of North Mansfield Avenue in Los Angeles, which was emitting a foul odor. At that point, it had been there for over 3 days, and before that, it had been parked at Bluebird Avenue for 3 weeks, with some sources saying more than a month. A big metal box in Los Angeles heat with something inside of it. When the cops were called to see about the smell, they opened the front trunk.
I can't understand why someone who watches that show and goes through all this level of planning to plot this out for years wouldn't do a better job of disposing of the body. It sounds like he wanted to leave it in the woods in one of his songs, but why didn't he? Like, what left him to just leaving the car parked in places? That's the thing that people need to figure out, because that's the part that doesn't make sense. Like, that's the missing piece of this puzzle, and it's why everybody is saying he was set up and giving him some kind of out.
Finding a plastic bag containing the cut-up remains of a girl, about 5'2", weighing just 71 pounds, with wavy black hair, wearing a tube top and leggings. When Celeste went missing the year prior, she was listed as weighing 130 pounds, and now only 70, signaling she had lost a significant amount of weight since then.
Well, I mean, if they're going by the body, some of it could have been decomposition, I guess.
Accounting for the weight the body loses as it decomposes.
Oh, they were counting for that weight. Never mind.
The body was soon identified, and upon further investigation, police found that The vehicle was registered to David Anthony Burke and hadn't been reported as stolen. While all of this was going on,
At the
David
very least, report the car stolen. That's what makes the he's being set up thing not make sense, because if his car went missing, he could have just reported it as stolen.
was performing his music, including all of the stuff he wrote about her. If that weren't enough, one TikTok compiled the many theatrics David had during his show, all of which allude to what he did to Celeste. Part of what led not only to the identification of Celeste's body, but also her connection to David, was the shush tattoo he had on his finger. Although this has been widely reported to
I feel like that's a smoking gun right there, man.
mean that she also had a tattoo with shush on her finger, there are pictures of what she had tattooed that just looks like David's name in red. Again, this is another sign of what kind of dynamic they had. While she had his actual name on her finger, he only had an expression for secrecy and silence. Additionally, another connection made by people on Reddit is that the original location of the Tesla with Celeste's remains before it was towed was just a little over 100 yards away from where he used to live in Los Angeles, and his place has since been investigated by the police. David's future shows were promptly canceled, and he's been described as fully cooperative with law enforcement, although he hasn't been officially listed as a suspect or even a person of interest.
I don't understand how he could at least be listed as a person of interest. What the fuck, man?
One of the first people to speak out publicly about what had just been uncovered was Celeste's brother, Matthew Hernandez. According to NBC LA, Matthew said that family members who still live in Lake Elsinore knew that Celeste knew David, and that Celeste's disappearance took place when she went to see a movie with him. Simultaneously, to someone who decided to contact him on Instagram.
Damn, so even if you didn't do it, how does that alone not make you a person of interest when there's confirmation that the last person to see her before she went missing was you? That alone should make you a person of interest. In any other case, it would. I don't understand. Make it make sense. Why is he not a person of interest?
Matthew said, "Yes, it was David. I met him once in person. I knew about him taking Celeste and went to the police about it, but lack of evidence, so it was waved off. Even then, they don't do anything. They haven't even done anything towards him. She was always saying that he was waiting until she was 18 to get married and stuff like that. My sister wouldn't say anything, ever. Please send me more if you know. I never knew about the Discord server. I wish I would have known. I could have used this. I don't even have Discord." Matthew then sent a few previously unreleased pictures of Celeste and confirmed the authenticity of the text message exchanges where Celeste identifies someone else who had been with her. But Matthew remarks that this Gus person has since been shot dead. Someone else who came forward was a friend of his and
Right, so she's dead, and the guy that she apparently did stuff with before David, the first guy she ever did anything sexually with, also shot, also dead. And David is notoriously jealous, just from the lyrics of his song. I think this might be a double homicide here, guys, not just double murder. Double. I think he might have, yeah, like if you don't make him a person of interest, this dude definitely has the makings of a serial killer. Again, allegedly, but assuming that everything we've heard so far is true, and it sounds like it might be, he sounds like the makings of a serial killer, dude.
former teammate from when David was still a Fortnite player.
I think most of you all know I've known David for about 3.5 years. And the internet knows a 15-year-old girl was found disconfigured in the front of his car. Can't even say 15 because she was 14 when she passed. For those who don't know, David used to be a professional Fortnite player in the team that I was leading, Limit. Back then, I used to make music on my computer. He didn't have a good computer, so I told him about BandLab, and he started making music, and it completely popped off. And David, even before and after fame, he's always been a really, really nice person, like a little bit too nice, like comically nice. And for those who've been following me for a while, you know I used to have this ongoing joke over and over and over again about me dissing on David and us having like fake beef. Literally a year ago today, I posted, "The enemy, no, the enemy is David." And I would always make comments just hating on him because I thought it was funny to portray, I'm jealous of him. It should have been me. And flash forward to today, this is absolutely disgusting. He has known this girl since she was either 11 or 12.
Another member of his Fortnite team added more context to how they all initially met. "We were all in a Fortnite team called Chronic, which is where I met him. He met her in like 2021 through Fortnite, I'm pretty sure. Then he made her."
Oh, I met her through Fortnite? I would have assumed that she was the, yeah, that's even worse then. Because I would have assumed that she was like the younger sibling of one of these guys of a friend, and that's how he met her. And then he kind of, just through being exposed to her all the time, developed a bond with her. But if you met her on Fortnite, then, I mean, That could lean into grooming, depending on how those conversations went.
Her get Discord, everyone in the team knew about her, and he would joke about it and brush it off every time it got mentioned. That's all I personally know, but my friend Pistol knows more because they talked way more. She would literally say he raped her, but then follow it up with a joke, so I don't know if she was being for real or not. He was also just a weirdo, to be honest. He used to send gore in group chats. It does seem to be the case that a Fortnite team called Chronic was active at that point in time, and it also seems to be the case that David was affiliated with them in some way, at least based on this video title. On the other hand, Celeste's Discord account is
Yeah, he definitely was. But I get it. Alleged and all that. Tom's always careful to not make definitive claims unless he has definitive proof. But I'd say that's proof enough right there from what we just saw that that's definitely the group he was in.
verified to have been created in January 2021, which would make her 10, as she would only turn 11 in September that year, which is all the more horrific. Someone else who knew David and claimed they briefly dated when she was 16 and he was 18.
That's why I disabled voice chat for Fortnite for my kids. Exactly this reason. They play Fortnite, but they're not allowed to voice chat on it. I have the parental controls on. It doesn't allow them to voice chat with strangers. It has to be like someone on their friends list, and they're not allowed to add people on their friends list without my approval too.
Claimed she had seen him with Celeste, but never had any idea of anything that was going on. But besides people who knew David, some that knew Celeste also chimed in, including one called Exile's Funeral, who said, "Last time me and Celeste called, she was drunk and spam calling David. They have matching tattoos from when they dated. David used to have pictures of her up on his Instagram, but after they broke up, he took it off. Only thing throwing me off is the age, but I'm just gonna assume she lied about her age to everyone in our friend group."
It's quite possible.
Back then, because they did date, and then 2 days after that call with me, she deleted her whole account. Pictures.
Yep. She was lying about her age then. Was scared she'd get caught and deleted her account. For what it's worth, as far as covering this shit up goes, she sounds a little smarter than him.
Too also looks just like her. No way it's another Hispanic Celeste with the same curls, same face. That just doesn't make sense. Gets to a point.
I mean, it's possible. Highly unlikely, but possible.
With coincidences. This same person followed up outside of Discord, providing a series of screenshots of Instagram chats dated to December 2024, corroborating their claims to have been in contact with Celeste at that point in time. Due to how much attention this case got and how complicit many of the people in his Discord server were,
it makes you wonder how many of those other people might also catch charges for being complicit.
the people who were in charge of administrating it felt the need to go out of their way to make an announcement. We, the Discord and Twitch staff team, want to clarify what we knew and didn't know regarding Celeste. We were not aware of her true age or that she was a missing person. We also did not have any contact with her outside of what was public. From what was shared in David's Twitch streams and her role in the server, we understood her to be around 18 or 19. She appeared in 2
Yeah, so they're pretty much confirming she definitely lied about her age.
streams, but otherwise was
She or him, if not both.
not active in the server, and we do not have ongoing communication with her. Most of us are not located in California, so we were not aware of any missing persons reports connected to her. Additionally, the staff team has had minimal contact with David or his management. The mention of her full name within the server was not seen in real time due to how fast the chat moves when David pings everyone. As a result of this situation, the majority of the staff team has left the server, and we no longer associate with David. We do not
Yeah, they might be guilty of being, from the way that they're framing it, they may be guilty of being incompetent, but that it's not illegal to be incompetent. So that statement and that evidence there might keep them off the chopping block if they start looking for accomplices or, you know, people who are in trouble for not doing something about it and they knew and they were complicit. I don't know if you'd call that an accomplice or not, but I mean, should definitely be some kind of punishment associated with it.
do not support his actions in any capacity. Our priority has always been the well-being of members in this community. We are deeply saddened by the situation and extend our prayers to Celeste's family. May she rest in peace, and may her family receive justice. While I'm sure that this sentiment is genuine, and although it is quite possible that none of the members of his staff knew about it, there were people in the server
Yeah, definitely people in the server who knew.
who weren't necessarily staff members who definitely knew. One person in specific by the name of Xerxify, who was David's Twitch manager, was actually caught deleting Discord messages in real time by Redditors. First off, this makes him look quite guilty, and
Very guilty. I'd say if you're looking for an accomplice or anyone who should get an accomplice charge, it's that guy.
Second, I'm pretty sure that if these messages are eventually procured, and they certainly could be given the high-profile nature of this case, he may now be complicit and liable to get a charge of his own. And all of that is assuming that he isn't actually guilty of something, which he very well might be, given his urgency to go delete a bunch of posts on the Discord server, probably because those messages could prove that he knew what David was doing beforehand. A few days after the first big info dump online about Celeste and David's case, a tweet that got a lot of engagement claimed that the FBI was holding David's bodyguard, Mark Morales, aka Marky Next Door, on suspicion for accessory to murder, with an offered
Yeah, if your bodyguard knew and he didn't stop the crime from happening, he's in trouble. It's a huge no-no for a bodyguard, and something they're supposed to know better than. It's part of the job. Is that you not only protect your client, but you can't let your client commit crimes. You either have to snitch or try to stop it yourself, depending on the situation. But yeah, you can't. You are complicit. Then you're almost considered the right-hand man at that point.
reward of $25,000.
You transcend being a bodyguard and into being a henchman.
For information that could lead to his arrest. Mark was then contacted by none other than Neon
Wow, really, Neon?
on stream.
Yo, bro, I'm gonna be honest, bro. I don't want the government to be on me, so I don't know if you could be on my phone.
Dude, hey, buddy, I'm not on the run by the FBI, okay? I don't know why you're going. I don't know why you're saying.
Yes, you are, bro. You're on the run. Stop.
Hey, look at the FBI wanted poster. It literally says I'm black, and it says my alias is Big Steppa in Tubbs.
What the are you talking about?
Bro, the FBI wanted poster. It literally says I'm black.
Okay, so they're not 100% sure on your identity, but I'm sure they'll change it now.
Oh, okay. So you're saying it's not you?
No, it's bro. You know what, bro? It was they got mad at Aiden for not streaming, and they made a whole.
You're guilty. You're guilty. Get off my phone. You're guilty.
Neon is smart to get him off his phone as quickly as possible, or at least to be recording a conversation. I'll give credit to Neon for that.
36.
Bro, you're so weird, bro. Alright, dude, you got it, bro. Stop spreading narratives, dude.
Like Marky said in the clip, the FBI wanted tweet was proven to be fake, as Marky Next Door is actually
Okay, so he's not actually wanted by the FBI.
a streamer who had nothing to do with David or Celeste. Regardless, this is still technically a developing situation, and ultimately, time will tell if legal charges are pressed against David. Although, given everything here, I can't really
I don't know how they're not already.
see it going any other way. Regardless, rest in peace to Celeste Rivas Hernandez, whose life was taken far before it could fully develop. I've been Turkey Tom, thanks for watching, and until next time, leave me alone.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, so Turkey Tom did the homework, and it is way worse than what was in the Internet Versus video. Holy shit. Holy shit. I was being a lot more charitable during that reaction because I was like, I didn't know all this surrounding stuff. So I was trying to be as charitable as possible, or trying to entertain the idea of maybe it was set up or maybe it's a misunderstanding. No. I'm 100% on board with the he fucking did it. Yeah, he fucking did it, dude. I don't know how you can read this any other way. I don't know how he's not already a suspect or at least a person of interest. I don't understand how this isn't being investigated harder. This is wild to me. If we learn anything from this, especially if he gets away with it, if we learn anything from this, it's that, hey, we found a loophole. If you plan your crimes in the form of a song, then it can't be used against you, apparently. That's a rule that needs to change. I know that they've historically not used songs and art and stuff like that as evidence in court because freedom of expression, but man, there's got to be a line somewhere. I don't know how you draw that line or how you would write it out in law, but man, there's got to be one. Because otherwise, you're creating a loophole for shit like this to keep fucking happening. Because this shit's fucking... I don't think TV shows could write fucking villains any more obvious than this. Yeah, I think he did it. Like, my charitability's gone now. Yeah, I think he did it. I know I'm still going to say allegedly because it's not proven yet, but I don't know how much more proof you need. Do you need, like, pictures of him doing it? Do you need a... Jesus. Well, that'll do it for that one. If you guys enjoy the content, like the video, dislike the video if you don't like it, leave a comment, let me know what you guys think, and subscribe to the channel because I'm trying to hit 1,000 subs so I can at least make a few shekels off YouTube. So please subscribe. Please tell your family to subscribe. Please, tell your dog to subscribe. I don't care. I just need subscribers, so do subscribe. I would very much appreciate it. Plus, the content's good, and you guys are going to want to be here for the live streams. Anyway, thanks for watching this one. I'll see you guys in the next one.